What are you doing?
I'm seeing if this air jack or airbag will work to open this door. Just messing around. I need to get in here because someone locked the door and I need my poop shovel for this episode. Welcome to Questions Over Coffee. I am drinking good old-fashioned Avoca. Again, this is the Misty Valley. We've been going through a lot of Avoca, and remember, our deal still stands. If I select your question on Questions Over Coffee today, we will send you a free bag of coffee. What was that, a long pause? Yeah. We'll send you a free bag of coffee. It may not be Misty Valley, but we will send you some coffee. We got plenty of it. We tapered it back a little bit, but we still have a lot to give away. So anyway, that's the deal. So I got 3 questions I'm going to do today, and I will pick one at the end to win a free bag. Okay, first question. Rick on Twitter. When camping or outdoors sometimes, you need a digging device. What are your suggestions on that? Issued, spade, or something else? So if I had to pick something to go camping with, like a shovel, I typically have a shovel on my vehicle if I've got my off-road vehicle. But I've been leaning more towards something smaller to carry rather than that. And I used to have one of those small collapsible poop shovels that I would take camping with me, and I never freaking used it. So, like Rob and I were talking earlier, just mark your dominance and, right on the ground. You don't need a shovel for it. But there are other applications, I get it. I actually dug through some stuff and I found this old snow shovel that I have made by Backcountry Access. So on the inside of this right here, you depress this and it's got a probe, so you can basically was that so funny? Anyway, so it's got a probe, so you can basically probe the snow to find somebody that was trapped in the avalanche for legitimate probe purposes, right? But then you can extend the shovel, and then you've actually got a pretty substantial digging device. And I like this. I think it would be something great to take to the Rob's still laughing. Take to the beach. I think it would be cool for like covering coals or something after a fire or something to that effect. If you don't want to take a full-size shovel. I don't really like those little collapsible GI shovels. I think they're more trouble than they're worth, honestly, and I would rather just pack something like this because it's still pretty small when you collapse it. But, size is relative. I think this would be great for off-road purposes too, even if you were going to carry something smaller. Are you still laughing about probe? All right, get Rob off probe. Next question. Trying to move on. Rob just told me the real joke, which was the probe was made by a company called Backcountry Access. All right, I'm trying to move on too. All right, next question comes from Twitter. Do you guys know any tricks to open a car for legal reasons? My wife left the keys by accident in a locked car with our baby son. I would have loved to open the car without smashing a window. First of all, yes, I know plenty of ways to legally open a car, and I'm going to walk through those with some tools that I have. But if you have a baby in the car or something to that effect and you really need to get in the vehicle, just smash a window and deal with it. Just my advice. I think it would be faster to do that. A baby in a trapped car is no joke, so definitely get to that as quick as you can. Other ways to open a car legally. This is a company called Access Tools, and they make this, they call it like a door reach tool. I thought the name might have been printed on here. CarOpeningTools.com is printed on there though, so if you want to check these out. So let me explain these 4 different things here. So there's a wedge, there's like this air ram or air jack is what they call it. And there's also this strip that has a little bit of grip tape on the center. So you kind of use these in combination with each other. So let's say I had a vehicle that has one of those locks that you lift up, right? That's one way to get into a vehicle, right? Obviously, if you had access to that, you could open the vehicle. Well, modern cars don't really have that. That's kind of an older thing that vehicles have. So you probably won't encounter that all that much. But the way that you would do that is that, so this wedge system, if you can imagine a car door here, you're basically coming in from this direction in the car door, and you're wedging like this. So you're basically opening up a gap in the top of the door. So this is a rubber piece right here, and that's what rides against the car itself. So if you can imagine the door frame right here, you would wedge this in and then push back like this, so you're pushing out the car door. Once you have that gap, you make sure this is deflated, and you stick this into that gap, close this up, and inflate it, and that actually opens up the gap even more. So basically you're doing this and then slipping this in there and then inflating it. I kind of probably messed that up, but that's the technique there. So then this kind of holds the gap in your car door, and then what you do is you come in with this thing. So you basically slip this down through that opening too and slide it down the car door frame, and then with this you're going to basically push this in and try to reach and capture that little thing that's sticking up. So once you capture that pin, all you're doing is grabbing it like this, you make sure this is taut, and then you just lift up and you're actually gonna pop that thing up. And I've done it a few times. It's pretty neat when you can get it. It's a little bit more difficult, so it takes a little finagling to get it through and in the right place, and you wind up kind of having to tweak this and bend it a little bit to get in the right position. But it's pretty interesting that you can open that up with nothing more than this. And this is pretty severe grip tape. So if you're familiar with skateboards, this is even grippier than skateboard grip tape. So it can really grab things like that. So the other way to do that, same technique, you would use the wedge like this with the air jack, and you open up your space. And then in that space, this thing would get slipped in there. So if you can imagine the rear or the trailing edge of the door of a car door, so you're opening up the space. If up here was the top where you wedged it and opened it, you would slip this in like this, and with this tool, you would come into the release from the inside. So the handle. This is a way to capture the handle, and you're just turning, and you're able to. Depending on which direction you can find it with, you're just basically twisting this to pop out the handle and open the car door. Because most car doors, if you can get to the inside handle, you can open them. However, newer models don't really do that. So, just kind of take that with a grain of salt. It really just depends on what the vehicle is you're working with. So, hopefully that helps. I do think Access Tools sells to the public, so meaning to civilians. You don't have to be a registered locksmith to purchase these. I don't think. Don't quote me on that, but if I'm going to look it up after this episode and make sure that if there is a place that will sell publicly. I mean, honestly, you can probably look up, I don't know, Jimmy Tools or something like that, and probably find that too. But this is kind of my favorite setup to use if I'm going to do something like that. Yes, there are kind of like the tools to snake in there that you kind of standard locksmith tools like a Slim Jim and things like that. But I prefer this stuff because it's just easier to work with, and it's just simple in my mind. Okay, next question comes from Gus over email. Any changes to your EDC lately? I do have a couple. So I have started to carry AirPods on a daily basis just because I love these things. They're super simple to use. They connect up every time. The battery is really good on them. I've been wearing them on flights too, so if I've been traveling on the airplane, it's actually the way to go. I still miss the noise canceling Bose headphones, which I have some of those too, but they're the corded ones. I haven't upgraded to the Bluetooth ones, so I tend not to use those just because they take up so much room in my carry-on. It's like a huge case, and I don't know, not worth it in my opinion. Even though they're not noise canceling, hopefully Apple will come out with some at some point, but I'm rocking those, and that's kind of part of my EDC now. And then also, I've been swapping out my knife, that Emerson A100 that I carry, with this bug out. It's the 535 bug out from Benchmade, and this is a super cool knife that I saw maybe a month ago when I was traveling. It just looked interesting to me in the case. I've been a big fan of this blue color lately too, but that's why it stood out to me. But anyway, I started messing with it, and the profile on it is just amazing. Like, it's super thin. The pocket clip is really nice too, even though it kind of looks like it stands out quite a bit. It's very nice to carry. Plus, the clip comes almost all the way up to this, so it's kind of a deep carry in the pocket, which I really like. Still maintains kind of the same deal where, you know, the blade opening, you know, I carry in my right pocket, so the blade opening is against the seam of my pocket, which is how I like to carry, with the, you know, the tip up, but this against my back pocket. So that's my preferred method. I think the closure method on this is a lot, I don't know, it just takes some getting used to. I'm not used to it. I'm used to a liner lock, so this is kind of, I don't know, taking some getting used to. But the thumb stud's really nice. It does have ambidextrous options, so you can reverse the clip, and then it has a, you know, a dual position thumb stud, so you can access it left or right. The lock on it is kind of this interesting device here that you just slide down, and then you can collapse the knife. So I think it's a cool option. I like that it's super lightweight too. I wish I had a weight for you guys, but you can probably look it up online, 535 bug out. Super lightweight, super thin profile, and it's a good blade too. I mean, it's got a nice edge on it. It's super sharp. It's S30V, yeah. So I really like it. I think it's a cool knife. I think they run about $100 and some odd, 120, 30, something like that. But what I like is that sometimes I'll, you know, walk the dog with Kelly in the morning if I get back in time, and I can slip this into a pair of athletic shorts, you know, that I'm wearing, or workout shorts or something like that, and it's less obtrusive. So, you know, lighter weight, slimmer profile, just makes for easier access in pockets like that. Thanks for watching Questions Over Coffee. Remember, if you have questions, use the # Gear Tasting on any social media network, and we will find them and get them answered here on the show, or you can email them in, or however you want to get our questions to us, just get them to us. We'll get them on the show and get them answered. I am going to select, I'll select Rick on Twitter, that asked how to open the car for legal reasons. It's something I haven't been over yet on a video, so it was kind of interesting to talk through that. So thanks, Rick, for the question. Remember, check out the description below in the YouTube video, and we'll have some links posted there on how you can find some of the stuff that we have. And again, thanks for watching. Remember to check out the links below. There's one for our Crew Leader membership, which is our way to give back something to you for you showing support for our site, you know, what we got going on here on the YouTube channel.